Hi everyone, welcome to today's video on writing the equation of a line in slope-intercept form given 2 points. So we already know how to find the slope. The slope is the change in the y value, sometimes called the rise, divided by the change in the x values, sometimes called the run. We also know it's the constant rate of change. And we know how to find the y-intercept, that is where the line crosses the y-axis, also often referred to as the initial value. So if we're just given 2 points, we do actually have all of the information we need in order to find the equation of the line that goes through the points. We're just going to need to do some work to identify the slope of that line and the y-intercept. We remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is that slope and b is the y-intercept. And then we also have this formula, m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. To find the slope of the line. This numerator, y2 minus y1, is just saying what is the change or the difference in the y values, and x2 minus x1 is just the difference or the change in the x values. Okay, so let's see an example. We're going to look at our first example where one of the points is the y-intercept, so this becomes a little bit easier. So we're asked to write the equation of the line that goes through the points 0, negative 2, and 4, 6. Now I can graph this, and I will eventually, but we're going to start by doing this so we don't actually graph it, because we want to be able to write the equation without needing to go and graph it. Okay, so we have the 2 points. What we're going to first do is try to find the slope. So the slope m is equal to the change in the y values divided by the change in the x values. And to find the change, we can subtract them. So that's the y2 minus y1 part of that formula. So here I have one y value, that's 6. Here's another y value, negative 2. I need to find the difference from those, the change from negative 2 to 6. So if I just want to count up, to get from negative 2 to positive 6, I have to add 2 to get to 0, and then 6 more. So that's a change of 8. Or I could just subtract them. So I can do like 6 minus negative 2 for my change in the y values. And we should remember that when we are subtracting a negative, that's the same thing as adding a positive. So this is just the same thing as 6 plus 2, which is positive 8. Then for the denominator, we have the change in the x values. I have 0 as one x value, 4 as the other. So how do I get from 0 to 4? I add 4, so the change in the x values is going to be 4. But I could also subtract the first y value from the second y value, or x2 minus x1, so 4 minus 0, and I would get 4. So the change in the y values, change in y is 8, the change in the x is 4, so that means that the slope is equal to 8 divided by 4, or 2. When we go to graph it, it's actually going to be more helpful to think of it as the fraction 2 divided by 1. Okay, so that is the slope of my line. That is good. Now I need the y-intercept in order to write the equation of the line. So there is some algebra that we could do to find the y-intercept, which I'll show you on the next point, in the next example. But we actually were told the y-intercept because we have the point 0, negative 2. And as we should remember, the definition of the y-intercept is the y value when x is 0. Or it's where the line crosses the y-axis. If I were to plot this line, this point 0, negative 2, I would get this point right here, which of course is on the y-axis. So the y value when x equals 0 is negative 2. So I have that my slope m is positive 2. My y-intercept b is negative 2. Thus the equation of this line is y equals 2x plus negative 2, or sometimes we just write that as y equals 2x minus 2. So this m of 2, right, that's my slope, m is 2, and then the y-intercept b is -2, so I substitute in -2 for b, and that tells me the equation of this line, y equals 2x minus 2. Okay, we could also graph this. This is the point 0, -2. This is the point 4, 6. I can draw a line that connects the points, and I will see that I have a line, just like we said I would, with a y-intercept of -2 and a slope of +2. When I go up 2, I go right 1, up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, and up 2, right 1. Thus a slope of 2, or 2/1. Awesome. All right, so that's how we write the equation of the line when we're given 2 points, and one of those points happens to be the y-intercept. Now we're going to show what you need to do if one of those points is not the y-intercept. So here we have the 2 points -1, 4 and 5, 11. So the first thing we're going to do is try to find the slope of a line that goes through those points. So to do that, we have to find the change in the y values divided by the change in the x values. Okay, so to do that, we can subtract y2 minus y1, right? Subtract the y values, 11 minus 4. Or another way of doing that is just asking ourselves, right? Our first y value is 4, the next is 11. What is the difference or the change between 4 and 11? It's 7. Gets up by 7, so we get a change in y of 7. And then for our change in x, I have starting at -1, I end up at +5, so I can do x2, 5, minus x1, -1, 5 minus -1, and we know 5 minus -1 is the same thing as 5 plus 1, so this is 6. Thus, the slope of the line that goes through the points -1, 4 and 5, 11 is going to be 7, 6. Alright, so that is my slope. Now that's very helpful. If I go back to slope-intercept form, that's good because now I can substitute in 7, 6 for m. But then I'm kind of stuck because neither of those points, -1, 4, or 5, 11, just tells me the y-intercept. So what I have to do instead is a little bit of algebra. What I'm going to do is pick one of these points. It doesn't matter which one. I'll go with the point 5, 11, but it doesn't matter which point I would choose. And within the point 5, 11, I'm given an x and a y. I have an x value and a y value. All right, so 5 is the x value, 11 is the y value. So what I can do to write the equation of the line then is I'm going to substitute in 11 for y. I'm going to substitute in 5 for x. And then I still have this plus b. The reason I can do that is because that point, 5, 11, is a point on the line. So it's going to make this equation true. And now I can solve to figure out what b is. What is my y-intercept? 7 to 6 times 5 is 35, 6. Right? And then I'm adding b. I need to get b by itself, so I'm going to undo adding 35, 6 by subtracting 35, 6 from both sides. And here I will get just b on the right hand side, as that will cancel away. On the left, that to be a little bit of work here, 11 is the same thing as 66, 6 minus 35, 6. That is going to be equal to 31, 6. And that is equal to b. Okay, getting that into a mixed number, that will be 5 and 1/6. So b equals 5 and 1/6. So this is messy. It's a messy slope. It's a messy y-intercept. We honestly probably wouldn't want to graph these points, and it would be hard to figure all this out from trying to plot the points. So we do the algebra. We get that in order for this point to be on the line and have a slope of 7, 6, the y-intercept has to be 5 1/6. Okay, so now finally we can write the equation for this. We know that the slope is 7, 6. We know that the y-intercept is 5 1/6. So that is going to be the equation for the line that goes through the points -1, 4 and 5, 11. Awesome. Great work, everyone.